Hey, I'm Chris Baker with Team Westside Discs, and I'm going to do a short review of the new Latitude 64 Recoil. The Recoil is a distance driver, fairly overstable distance driver. Feels pretty good in the hand, fairly flat, a little bit of dome to it. I also throw Westside Fortress and Latitude 64 Flow. Also, I'm going to compare it to Recoil Gladiator, which I also throw, and then a Lucid Defender. So we're going to give it a pull here and see how it goes. So I get over on this recoil a little bit. You can see it really wants to fight out pretty hard. Now I'm throwing my TP Fortress. This is pretty beat in. Get to go straight for a while, and then kind of similar fade to the recoil. This is a Lucid Defender. I used to throw these. I really pull over on it. You can kind of at the last second see similar fade there to the recoil. And this is what I'm currently bagging as like my faster Fortress. This is a Recoil Gladiator. I don't think I get quite as much fade with the Gladiator as I got with the recoil. And then this is also what I'm throwing for distance, Opto Flow. This is a fresh stock stamp. I get it on the wrong line, but you can see it sort of come over a little bit and then not quite have as much fade as the recoil. It's not really that close to the flow. I'm throwing my second recoil here. Pretty much the same flight, just straight, and then just sort of dives out to the left. We come up here to the discs, and Defender and Gladiator about the same line. Defender's a little longer. And then the recoil is a little bit left of these two. You can see my orange Fortress here. And then probably about 15-20 feet past and right here is the first recoil I threw. And then the flow. So here's my buddy Steve Andrews. He's going to throw the recoil. And when he first threw it, he thought it was pretty overstable. You can see this one finishes pretty hard left for him. So he likes to throw Bio Defenders for this spot. This is one of his a little bit more beat in Bio Defenders, and you can see he gets a little bit of straight to turn out of it. With kind of similar fade, not quite as much fade as the recoil. And then he's throwing a TP Fortress here as well. This is a beat in one. Gets that little bit of straight to turn and then pretty hard fade. And then he'll throw the recoil again here. Similar to his first throw, pretty overstable. So Defender and Fortress ended up in about the same spot for him, but both of the recoils ended up significantly left of those. Quite a bit more fade fresh out of the box here. So we actually went out to the course and threw a couple of shots on the course. This is about a 280, 290 foot hole, a little bit uphill. So Steve's throwing the recoil here. Goes a little past the basket, almost pin deep, a little right. I'm also throwing it. I like to kind of throw it up the hill to the trees and let it fight back. And I actually go quite a bit past the basket on this one. Got a good pull on it. This is another hole. Kind of throw hyzer down the right side. It's about 300, but it's a bit of a low ceiling. Steve throws it a recoil a little high. And he sort of fights through. I'm throwing the recoil also here. I kind of stay a little more right, a little lower, and it just fights out perfectly before it runs into those evergreens, and I was about 5 or 10 feet away. It's the perfect disc for me for that hole. This hole is about 300 feet, a little downhill. Has some time to ride to the left. I actually didn't quite throw it as well as I'd like and came up a little short, hit the tree there in front of the basket. Steve gets a really nice pull on it. Actually gets it to go pretty straight and then fight out at the end there. Steve, what are your first thoughts on the recoil?
I mean, I like the recoil. It feels really good in the hand. It feels a little thinner than a Defender, which is what I normally throw, a kind of beat bio Defender. It's a lot more stable. I don't know whether it'll break in to be closer to those. I think I probably threw the Fortress, a beat-in Fortress, and a beat-in Defender, both further than this because it turned left so hard. I think it might be great for Kansas. I think if it fights the wind as good as I think, then it might be a competitor for that Defender slot. But I'd have to see it break in. I don't have a huge arm, so it might be a little bit more disc than I need. Chris, what did you think of the Recoil?
I like the Recoil. It actually was a little more overstable than I thought it was going to be initially. But I could see it being a nice complement to my Fortresses. It was a little bit longer than my Fortresses. Feels pretty similar in the hand. Same overstability. So I'm going to give it a little bit more of a try. Maybe as it breaks in a little bit, it'll stretch out a little bit longer and sort of fill that slot right now. I'm currently throwing recycled Gladiator there. The rim is a little bit smaller than the Gladiator, which is good for me because I have a little bit smaller hands. So overall, I really like it so far. Thanks everyone for watching this review video, and check out the Latitude 64 Recoil coming soon to dynamicdisc.com or your local retailer.